I was married to a ritualist who used his mutim to win tenders. I was only cleansed when I was taken by my mother. She took me to this other prophet and we went to Akonhog. That was where I spent almost a week vomiting as I was being cleansed by that prophet. People, they do not know that in order for you to make money, especially if you want fast money, there are things that you need to do and they are not so nice. You sacrifice a lot of sacrifices. Brother, I have been keeping this secret for years. And every time when I see a car like a G-Wagon, even on the N1, my heart, it totally stops. You know why? It is because of the things that I found out about Ukutwala. I thank God that I managed to come out alive and today I am here to share with you my testimony of the things that I saw when I was married to a money ritualist. I am a doctor, by the way. I am working in the private sector and I had to fight in order for me to get out of this marriage that I had found myself in. And I want to be honest with you, I got married to this man who already had another wife who was in KZN, who wanted a polygamous marriage, even though at first the first wife did not want, but she ended up agreeing. And I said, I'm happy and I will stay here in the city whilst the first wife stays in the village. It was because of the money. When a man has money, it is easy for you as a young wife to enter into that marriage because all that you want, it is there. Back then, I was someone that had a very good life. I had been bright and intelligent in school. I can say that basically from the village where I come from, I was the girl that everyone was jealous of. I was a young doctor. I was fresh out of varsity. I had a good boyfriend, a man that loved me, but me and him, we used to fight a lot. There were some unresolved issues. When we were in varsity, I once had an STI. He could not tell me where this STI had came from because as for me, I was as faithful as a woman can ever be. I had never put any man in between my legs. So where did this STI came from? I would ask him and he would fail to respond to me. So even though I loved my boyfriend, we were supposed to get married, but the fact that he infected me with an STI and he could not come clean with me, it was so painful. That was when I met this man. He was older than I was. He was much more wealthier and he had that tenderpreneur energy. He told me straight up, I have a first wife who is in KZN, but I want you to be my second. I want to build a life. I want to build you a life in the city. Then we have kids and my kids can inherit my wealth. I agreed. I was young. I wanted the soft life and I did not want to go and live in KZN. No ways. I said, okay, if I agree, promise me that you will never make me to go to stay in rural KZN. I told him, you keep your first wife there. I'm staying in the suburbs because when we met, I was already staying in the suburbs. Business, I can say that it was booming so nice for him. He had just secured a multi-million rand road construction tender. He bought for me the latest one. This was a latest 2012 Range Rover Sport. It was so nice. It was that one with the silver trim that everyone wanted back then. Lol. I just laugh at these young women when they see the cars that they are making today. Do you know that 10 years from now, if you ever slept with a ritualist because that ritualist bought you a car which is a latest model now, 10 years it will be a poor man's car. That Range Rover Sport from 2012, there is no one that even wants to touch it. But I got married to a ritualist simply because he had bought for me a latest 2012 Range Rover Sport. So everything is just vanity in this world. And I want young women to know that do not be tempted to sleep with a ritualist just because that ritualist is going to buy for you an iPhone. Think about 10, 20 years from now, do you think that you'll be able to resell that iPhone for a profit? Never. It will never happen. I felt like I was a queen. He had this car that I was never allowed to touch. He had this G-Wagon. On our wedding, even though this wedding, it was just a traditional ceremony that happened. We did not sign anything because he was already married to the first wife. I was cool with that. I really did not have a problem. I wanted us to use this car that was going to pull us up at the venue, but he refused. This beautiful G-Wagon, he only ever parked it at my place. He never drove it around. He never took it to KZN. It was staying at this other dealership. When you have money, your car that you have bought at a dealership, they can even allow you to return it at the same dealership so that you can park it and you can go and you can collect it whenever you want to. And when we would visit the big family in the house, that was the most difficult period in my marriage with that man, because we would leave all the luxury cars parked in our garage. Then he would cram me into the old Polo Vivo. When I was pregnant, you can imagine driving all the way to KZN in a small little Polo Vivo. My legs will get swollen, and I would complain and he would say, no, it's fine. We would eat things that we never ate in the suburbs. When we would arrive at the village the first time around, I even wanted to cry on behalf of the first wife. He did not even build a nice house in KZN, no livestock, nothing, brother Nashim. The night when we arrived for the first time, we ate pap and cabbage like there was no money in the bank. I looked at the first wife and I said, is it because she is not educated as I am? Why is he mistreating this woman? And she was a bubbly person. And I would even complain and say, why are we hiding our success? I just thought that maybe in the village there were too many people that were going to bewitch him, and I would just complain when I was with him. He would look at me and he would say, I'm not that type that loves to celebrate my success. And I was like, celebrate your success when you let your own wife that you had kids with eat pap and cabbage. That was all that they ate in the village. So I said, okay, it's fine. Let me focus on my own marriage. He had one rule that he gave to me ever since he started parking that terrifying G-Wagon. The rule that he gave to me was never ever drive the G-Wagon and never touch things that are in the car. Never clean my car. I take it personally to a car wash. There was always this briefcase that I would see in the G-Wagon. I thought that maybe there were some dark secrets. Maybe he was cheating, some birth certificates of other kids. Maybe he had gotten married to other women. You know, as a woman, I just wanted to investigate and I wanted to know what the hell was happening with my man. I would always look when he was not around in the car, and I saw that there was always this silver briefcase that was in the spare wheel compartment. He told me that if I would ever touch that briefcase, then our relationship was going to end. I thought that it was just men and their toys. Maybe he was hiding secret bank accounts, documents from the first wife. I did not know, brother, that I was living with a monster. One day, he told me that he was going to a meeting in Nelspruit. He left the G-Wagon in the garage. Around 2 a.m., I could not even sleep. I heard this sound coming from the garage. It was a scratching sound. It was as if there was a big rat or a cat that was fighting for its life that was caught up in the car. So I grabbed a torch and I went downstairs. I opened the G-Wagon. The smell inside, it was so different. I felt as if there was someone that had been burning plastics inside the car. That is the smell that I felt. I went to the back, to the hidden compartment where the spare wheel is supposed to be. I don't know what gave me the nerves to do something like that. The spare wheel, odd enough, it was not where it was supposed to be. My hands were shaking when I took the silver briefcase and I opened it up. It was not locked. Brother Nashim, I wish that I could delete the image that I saw from my brain. When I opened that briefcase, there was no money as I thought I would find. There was a black, hairless creature that looked like a rat, and it also looked like it was a mutated baby. It was so dark as coal. It was wrapped in an old 200 rand note that was so big, the one with the leopard, and it was eating, Brother Nashim, it was eating a piece of raw liver so slowly, moving like it had been chewing on the same piece of liver for a year. It did not even have eyes, but I felt as if this thing, it was a tokoloshi looking at me. What scared me was that this old 200, not that old one, if you remember it, that had the picture of the leopard on it. It was so big, I had never seen money that was big like that. It could wrap around that scary looking baby. And then that was when I realized then my husband did not get tenders because he was a good businessman. He did ukutwala. He had been feeding a tokoloshi in our garage. This was not the shocker. Beneath the liver, oh my God, what I saw. At the bottom of the briefcase, I saw something that was familiar. It was a photo. I picked it up with my fingertips. It was my sister, my young sister, who had died before the man had bought a car for me. We thought that maybe it was a short illness, but looking at the photo that was in that briefcase, then I realized the truth. My sister was not sick. She had been sacrificed by my husband. My husband had done his blood rituals so that he can get that road construction contract. I sat on the garage floor and I vomited until my stomach was empty. I had been driving a Range Rover that had been bought with my sister's blood. I did not wait for my husband to come back. I grabbed the keys of the old Polo Vivo, the one we used for the village. I drove and I drove. I did not go to the police, who was going to believe me telling someone that I saw a tokoloshi in my husband's car. I drove straight to KZN, to the big house where the first wife lived. I arrived there. I was crying a lot. I found her in the yard. She was sweeping and bubbly. She was even surprised that I had came there alone. Then I just fell to the ground. She took me inside in her bedroom. She asked me what was wrong. I cried and I told her everything. I did not even have time to attend to my twins that were still young at that time. I told her about the G-Wagon, the tokoloshi, the liver, as well as my sister's photo. I expected a person to scream when you would have told someone that this is what you've seen in your husband's car. I said, do you understand that our husband might be doing rituals? She did not even get shocked like I expected her to be shocked. She just stopped sweeping and looked at me with so much pity. And then she asked me, why do you think we live like we are poor, hey? And when she asked me, when she said, why do you think I stay here wearing these old clothes whilst I know you are staying in a big mansion in the city? It is because these tokoloshis of his, they will hound and sleep with a person that eats the money that comes from their mouth. They vomit money. Don't you know? They hound what they bought. I refused his money from the day that he brought that silver briefcase with him from Joburg, and I told him he can keep his tenders as long as he leaves me and my children alone, so I am safe. Then she pointed at me and she said, but you ate the money. I saw that you had this car that he bought for you. I never even fought with you. Do you remember when you said that you wanted to become the second wife? All that I asked you, why were you going to respect me like the way that you are supposed to respect the first wife? You enjoyed the soft life. Do you know that the soft life that you were enjoying, that is your sister's blood? It paid for the soft life. You did not just receive the car. You killed your own sister and you profited from her death. Now this tokoloshi, it says that you belong to it. You are the wife to that tokoloshi. That is why he always park the car at your house. He will never bring that car here. My relatives, they know this story. And it knows you. It knows that you are the wife. It even sleeps with you. Don't you have dreams when you sleep with your own father? When she asked me if I have dreams of me sleeping with my father, I said, how do you know that I have these dreams? Because my father had passed away and it always bothered me. My father would come to me and he would sleep with me as if we are not even related, like I am not his daughter. And she told me that it was also happening to her when she quickly went to a sangoma and she was told that her husband in Joburg, where he was working, had done ukutwala rituals, and she was going to come telling her that he wants to do tenders, and if she agrees, she will lose her children, all of her children, then she will be the last one to be sacrificed. She told me that if I wanted to go back to that mansion, I should know that I was going to be a wife to that tokoloshi. But if I can leave, then it meant that my life would return back to normal. I ended up coming back to Mpumalanga, where I grew up staying. I was a mess, Brother Nashi. I started running mad. When we speak about these stories, it's like we are just joking. We just want to enjoy listening to the stories when you are working, but I lost my mind. I am a doctor. I went to school. I graduated, but I started seeing shadows that would follow me. I would end up climbing in a tree, and people would wonder, how did this woman climb up that high tree that men are afraid of climbing? It is because I would be so scared that these shadows that would follow me, they wanted to kill me. If I stand outside, I would see that there are 6 people that are standing right next to me and they want to hurt me, and I would scream. I would hear someone whispering in my ears, even in broad daylight, saying that he wants to kill me because I ate the money and I ran away. This was a tokoloshi. My mom knew about this other ZCC prophet, a very powerful one. The man was staying in a place that is called Akonhog. We drove there with my 3 brothers because I was so violent. They tied me and they put me at the back of the bakkie, but still 2 of my brothers had to hold me. My mom would be crying when I wanted to jump out of the bakkie. We went there because of desperation. The man said that I already belonged to the grave. It was too late. My mother threw herself to the ground and cried. The man then said, okay, it's fine. Bring her inside. The man cleansed me for several days when I was staying at his house. It was the most painful experience in my life because he used these injections that he would drain my blood and he would do something with it, praying for me, saying that my blood, it had been infected because the tokoloshi had been sleeping with me. On the 7th day, that was when the scratching that was happening in my ears stopped. I felt okay, and I was told that I was clean and I needed not to return back to my husband. I stayed and I started over as a single parent. I still practice medicine. I live a quiet, simple life. I frown upon ritual money. When I see these girls saying that they want blessers, they want rich husbands, I don't get jealous. I get scared for them. The most chilling part, Brother Nashi, was that 3 days after the prophet finished cleansing me, I had news from Joburg. My ex-husband did not even come looking for me. He did not even care. He had already moved on. He got married again. He got married to a 19-year-old girl. I heard she is from Bratz. I saw a photo of them. I heard that he also bought a car for him a couple of months after that. You know, I did not even feel any pain. I actually prayed for that young woman because she does not understand what she got into. Maybe that girl from Brad's thought that she had won the lotto. Maybe she thought she had found a blesser. She does not know that she is going to get sacrificed, that Tokoloshi will sleep with her until her womb is tired. I am a single mom. I'm grateful for my twins. I understood why the first wife never even bothered to fight for her husband in a situation like that. Do you think that the first wife will fight for her husband when she knows that the husband is a ritualist? She was happy that there was another woman around and she was never going to be bothered by the Tokoloshi. This is my confession. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our DM sister. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with our dear sister in the comment section. It is very strange. If it was you, would you have stayed in that mansion, just letting that Tokoloshi do whatever that it wants to do with you? If you were the wife to this man, would you have gone to the village to stay with the first wife, or you would have taken the Range Rover and risk it and just enjoy money in Joburg, staying in a mansion? Tell me what you think in the comment section.